Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Public Information Forum for the proposed Townsite Solar 2 project. Tonight's Public Information Forum will include an introduction by the Las Vegas Field Office Manager, Shauna Duman, followed by introductions of the participants from the BLM Southern Nevada District and Panorama Environmental, who is facilitating tonight's session. After introductions, Shauna Heaton, BLM Project Manager, will present on the proposed Townsite Solar 2 project and provide a short overview of the BLM renewable energy application evaluation process. Following the presentations, there will be a question and answer session facilitated by Panorama with responses from the BLM, and then we will open up the forum for public input. Then we will close out the evening. This meeting will be recorded and the video will be posted to the project information webpage at the address in the screen. We will also post that address in the chat. Now we will turn it over to Shauna Duman, Las Vegas Field Manager, for a short introduction and an overview of our presenters and other participants for this evening's Public Information Forum. Shauna?
Great, thank you, Suzanne, and good evening, everyone. As Suzanne said, my name is Shauna Duman, and I'm the Field Manager for the BLM Las Vegas Field Office. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We are presenting on the Townsite Solar 2 project and providing information on where we are in the process and how you can provide input. We are not yet in the environmental review process, also known as NEPA, so we may not have all the answers to your in-depth or specific questions, but we will work hard to provide answers to your questions later in the meeting. Please know that even hearing your questions will help us better understand what needs to be analyzed in the future should this project move forward. Your input tonight will also help BLM analyze the appropriateness of a solar project in this location. Jessica Heaton is the BLM project manager and will be providing the presentation shortly. You have also heard from Suzanne of Panorama Environmental, and she will be moderating the Q&A session as well as the public input session. On this slide, you can see the other BLM specialists that are working behind the scenes to provide answers that you put in the Q&A feature. Suzanne will go over how to use that later in the meeting. So for now, I will turn it back over to Suzanne.
Thank you, Shauna. Tonight's forum will provide opportunities for questions and public input. There will be a question and answer session where written questions can be submitted. There will also be an opportunity for verbal public input toward the end of the information forum. We will have more information on these two opportunities later on. The BLM is also providing opportunity after the information forums for public input and questions until September 15th, 2022. Input and questions can be submitted via email to the email address on screen or via mail to the BLM Southern Nevada District Office. We will also provide this information in the chat for this forum. Now, Jessica will present an overview of the Townsite Solar 2 project as well as the BLM solar application evaluation process.
Thank you, Suzanne. Good evening, everyone. On the screen, you will see a map of the proposed solar project the BLM is currently processing. The Townsite Solar 2 project, highlighted on the map in black, is the project we are discussing tonight. Skylar Energy Resources, LLC, has submitted a right-of-way application for the Townsite Solar 2 project to utilize public land in Clark County for the construction, operation, and eventual decommissioning of a proposed solar facility and interconnection to the regional transmission system. The Townsite Solar 2 project request includes approximately 80 acres of BLM administered lands, 4 miles southwest of Boulder City, Nevada, and 2 miles south of Railroad Pass on the west side of US Highway 95. The project proposal is a 19 megawatt solar photovoltaic power generating facility with battery storage. The photovoltaic modules installed on site would convert sunlight to direct current electricity, which is then collected and converted into alternating current electricity through a system of inverters. Power from the Townsite Solar 2 project would be delivered to the Townsite Solar 1 substation adjacent to the southern border of the proposed project via a new interconnection line. A new transformer would be step up. The alternating current electricity would be installed within Townsite Solar 1 substation. The preliminary plan of development for the proposed project is available online at the project website, which we will provide a link for in the chat. On the screen, you will see a flow chart outlining the application evaluation process for the Townsite Solar 2 project. The application evaluation process, which begins with the submittal of a solar project application. The application is then prioritized based on the regulations and involves interdisciplinary team review. This helps the BLM prioritize and process the solar application workload more efficiently. After prioritization, applications move into the solar application evaluation process. The application evaluation process involves public information forums and agency coordination. When the evaluation is complete, the BLM will determine whether to continue to process the application. If the BLM determines to continue processing, that is when the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, process would initiate, which includes environmental review, analysis, and public involvement. The public information forum for the Townsite Solar 2 project are part of an early stage of the solar application evaluation process. In 2012, the BLM and Department of Energy issued the final programmatic environmental impact statement for solar energy development in 6 southwestern states. This document provided information to improve efficiency and created processes to standardize the review of solar applications in a more environmentally responsible manner. The Townsite Solar 2 project proposal is 19 megawatts, and the solar PIS addresses projects larger than 20 megawatts. With the project being less than 20 megawatts, the application is not subject to the decisions adopted by the document, and it is not subject to the variance process. The right-of-way regulations provide directions on renewable energy development applications on public lands. Applications for renewable energy projects are evaluated on a case-by-case basis based on environmental considerations, public input, and coordination with federal, state, and local government agencies and tribes. Information provided by those parties, as well as the applicant, can be utilized when evaluating the appropriateness of an application. The application evaluation process is separate from the NEPA process and comes before. Tonight's public information forum and public input period that lasts until September 15th, 2022, provides you an opportunity to have input on the Townsite Solar 2 project. The information gathered during the meeting and the input period will inform the application evaluation process and assist BLM in making a determination on whether to continue to process the application and begin NEPA. Currently, we are still in the early stages of processing the Townsite Solar 2 project application. After public information forum has concluded, we will continue to gather public input on the project until September 15, 2022. The information we gather, including input from the public, agencies, and tribes, will be reviewed by the BLM authorized officer. The BLM authorized officer will make the determination on whether the project will move forward and be analyzed under the NEPA process. The determination on this project is anticipated in the fall of 2022. Helpful input and information from you would include potential local concerns, opportunities, and barriers related to the proposed project. We would also appreciate input about the types of use within the proposed project area or resource concerns. Some examples could include types of recreational activities and opportunities that are conducted within the project area, resource concerns for wildlife, vegetation, visual resources, and other local factors. Please note that before including your address, phone number, email address, or other personal identifiable information in your comment, you should be aware that your entire comment, including your personal identifying information, may be publicly available at any time. While you can ask that your personal identifying information be withheld from the public review, BLM cannot guarantee that they'll be able to do so. Anonymity is not allowed for submissions from organizations or businesses or from individuals identifying themselves as representatives or officials of organizations or businesses. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Suzanne, who will begin the question and answer session.
That concludes the presentation. We will now have a question and answer session on the Townsite Solar 2 project. Questions can be submitted utilizing the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen by following the instructions on the slide. At the bottom of your screen, you should see a Q&A feature to submit questions. Please understand that some questions will be answered live during the question and answer session, while some may be answered in writing in the Q&A feature. As questions begin to come in, I will facilitate asking the questions as the project manager, Jessica Heaton, will answer them. So if you have questions, please feel free to submit them at this time. And we'll give some time and wait for individuals to type their questions in. Okay, we have a question. Jessica, will there be any offsite work and/or infrastructure?
As described in the project plan of development, Skylar Energy intends to utilize shared facilities with the Townsite Solar 1 project. They're proposing to use the same transmission infrastructure and interconnect into Townsite's newly constructed bay at their Western Area Power Administration substation. They are requesting a site access right-of-way between the southeast corner of the project and Old US 95, and they have identified a potential 5-acre temporary construction laydown area on BLM land outside and adjacent to the southeast corner of the proposed project.
Okay, here we have another question. Why is this project not subject to the variance process?
Thank you. As I explained during the presentation, the Townsite Solar 2 project proposal is 19 megawatts, and the solar PIS addresses projects larger than 20 megawatts. So with the project being less than 20 megawatts, the application is not subject to decisions adopted by the solar PIS and is therefore not subject to the variance process.
Jessica, is there active mining in the project area?
The proposed Townsite Solar 2 project is located within BLM's Henderson Community Pit for mineral materials. The proposed project does not interfere with any existing or pending mineral material permits. During the development of their application, Skylar Energy reduced the size of their proposed project so that sufficient land would remain in the community pit to allow for anticipated mineral materials needs to support community developments in the future.
While we're waiting for questions to come in, I'll just remind everyone that you have until September 15th to submit comments in writing to the BLM. We have another question. How long will construction take for the project? Jessica, it looks like you're mute. Still not able to hear you.
Apologies, we're having some technical difficulties here in the room.
Mute your speaker.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I apologize, we're having technical difficulties. My apologies, we're having technical difficulties in the room. I just wanted to confirm that you all can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you. As far as how long the construction can take for the project,
Oh, we just lost you again.
oh no.
The post is muted.
Now you're back on.
Okay, is that better?
Better.
Okay, I apologize. The approximate construction is about 12 months, depending on the phasing of the project. Additionally, information on the project, including more details on the applicant's schedule estimate, can be found in the preliminary plan of development. And that link was provided earlier during the presentation in the chat.
I just want to thank you for your patience as we're still receiving questions. All right, we will now transition onto the verbal input section. We will not be answering any questions that you provide verbally. If you have any additional questions, you can continue to drop them into the Q&A box on the screen and we will respond in writing, or you can email or mail any remaining questions to the BLM. We didn't receive any registration for public input. So if you would like to speak, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of the screen and we will open your microphone. If you are on the phone, you can raise your hand with *9 and then unmute and mute with *6. You will see a 2-minute timer on the next slide, and this will display the amount of time you have for your public comment. We are reserving 2 minutes for public comment input. Your input will be included in the project public record. BLM wants to hear from all the members of the public. However, out of respect for everyone's participation and input, we do ask that you follow these guidelines. Please stay within your allotted time. On the slide, you will see as the time is running out that it will flash, and we ask that you watch this and be cognizant of that and wrap up your comment. Please be respectful of others that are speaking. Please refrain from profanity. If these guidelines are not followed, your microphone will be muted and we will have to move on to the next person. So let's go ahead and get started. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand. And as a reminder, if you have any additional questions, you can continue to drop those questions into the Q&A box on the screen. I just wanted to mention, we saw the question that came in before move to public input. We've answered it in the Q&A box due to technical difficulties with mics. We will be keeping the meeting open until 8 p.m. So you can continue to provide input through the Q&A box and continue to provide input until 8 p.m. And if you would like to speak at any point, please feel free to raise your hand and we can unmute you so that you can have 2 minutes for public input. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Shauna to just give a closeout message, but we will be here until 8 o'clock.
Hi, everyone. Just thank you again for joining us tonight. I do apologize for our technical difficulties that we had. Just a reminder, the input period is open until September 15th. And so we have some ways on the slide that you can see the methods for submitting further questions and inputs after the meeting, and we'll take those by email, mail, or telephone. This presentation will be posted on our website as well. So if somebody you know wants to watch it, it will be available for them. Thank you again. And as Suzanne said, we'll be here until 8, just in case other people come on and want to say something, or if you guys that are still on want to ask some more questions or make a public statement. Thank you again for joining us tonight. We look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.